Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive.
Yeah.
When we talk about money, we often get caught up in the practical stuff, right?
The strategies, the apps, all the mechanics.
Exactly. Investment strategies, budgeting tools.
Mm.
But there's this whole other side, this emotional dimension to finance that often gets overlooked.
Yeah, definitely.
It's that feeling,
Yeah.
that quiet voice that knows you should be saving, you should be planning for the future.
But somehow you just don't.
Yep. You just put it off tomorrow.
Always tomorrow.
So today, we're really going deep into that, into financial procrastination.
It's a huge one for so many people.
It really is. That feeling of knowing what you need to do with your money, but finding yourself, stuck, not actually doing it.
Right, stuck in inaction.
It's a powerful force, and honestly, a lot of us deal with it. So our mission here today is to kind of peel back the layers on why we do this.
Get into the psychology of it.
Exactly. And more importantly, look at what the research says about how to actually genuinely overcome it. Think about, say, Sarah. Payday comes, she opens her banking app,
Stares at that transfer button.
right, steers the transfer button for her emergency fund, and then just closes the app.
We've all been there in some form, I think.
Totally. So what's really happening there, and how can the insights from our sources help someone like Sarah or anyone listening break that cycle?
Well, it's fascinating because when you dig into the source material, it's often not about just being lazy,
Yes.
or not understanding finances.
Okay, so what is it then?
A big factor our research points to is something called choice overload. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but
Having too many options is the problem.
exactly. Too many investment choices, savings accounts, all the jargon that comes with it.
It just feels overwhelming.
Right. And that sheer volume of information can actually lead to paralysis. It feels safer somehow to just defer the decision.
I'll figure it out later when I have more time to research, which never happens.
Precisely. And then there's fear. And our sources show it's actually quite complex.
Not just fear of losing money.
Not just that, although that's part of it. Sometimes it's actually a subtle fear of success.
Really? Fear of success. How does that work?
Well, imagine someone unconsciously putting off investing because the idea of actually having a larger portfolio or hitting a big financial goal, it feels like a new kind of pressure.
Oh, okay. Like a new responsibility they're not sure they want.
Kind of. Or there's the fear of not making the perfect choice. That leads to analysis paralysis.
Yes. Spend so long trying to find the absolute best option that you end up doing nothing.
Exactly. Doing nothing feels less risky in the moment than doing something potentially, imperfect.
Got it.
And there's another really important cognitive bias at play here, hyperbolic discounting.
Okay. Break that down for us.
It's basically our brain's tendency to really, really devalue rewards the further off they are in the future.
So retirement feels impossibly far away.
Yeah, or even just next year's vacation fund. It feels abstract, easy to put off, especially when compared to the immediate hit of satisfaction from buying something today.
So, wow. It's not just about willpower then. It's almost like our brains are wired against long-term financial planning sometimes.
In a way, yes, wired to prefer the now. And that paralysis, that inaction we talked about, it's often a direct result of these cognitive hurdles, the overwhelm, the fear, this discounting.
Which really hammers home the point that inaction, doing nothing, is actually a choice itself.
Absolutely. And the critical thing our sources emphasize is that it's often the most expensive choice you can make.
Because you miss out on time, on compounding.
Exactly. The real power in saving and investing isn't necessarily about hitting some huge jackpot or timing the market perfectly.
It's the consistency, right?
It's the consistent small actions, those tiny steps you take over and over and over again. They seem insignificant day to day, maybe.
But they add up.
They really add up. They accumulate into something incredibly powerful over time.
Okay, so we understand the hurdles, the overwhelm, the fear, our brains working against us sometimes. How do the sources suggest we actually start shifting things? How do we move forward?
Well, one really powerful starting point our sources highlight is about reframing how you think about saving.
Reframing it. How so?
Instead of seeing it as like a chore or something restrictive.
Like you're depriving yourself now.
Right. Start thinking about it as an act of genuine self-care.
Self-care. Okay, I like that. Tell me more.
You're not taking away from your current self. You're actively looking after your future self. You're building security. You're creating options.
Paving the way for the life you actually want down the line.
Precisely. And that mental shift is really important, especially when, as we said, our brains tend to focus on the here and now.
That makes a lot of sense. Framing it as self-care makes it feel less like a punishment and more like, well, something positive you're doing for yourself.
Exactly. It shifts it from being punitive to being empowering. It's
Mm.
kind of like choosing healthy food or deciding to exercise.
You do it because you value your future well-being, not just because you feel obligated.
Right. And that reframe directly helps counteract that hyperbolic discounting we mentioned. It makes the future benefit feel a bit more real, more tangible, more worth prioritizing today.
Okay, the reframe is powerful.
Yeah.
But even with that new mindset, people still get stuck on just starting. Where do you even begin?
Yeah, the where to start problem is huge.
And this is where our sources really emphasize something that feels almost uh, counterintuitive.
Starting small?
Starting ridiculously small, like almost embarrassingly small sometimes.
Yeah. Lower the barrier to entry as much as possible.
Because trying to fix everything at once, trying to overhaul your entire financial life over a weekend.
That's a recipe for feeling overwhelmed again and just giving up.
Totally. So instead, the advice is pick one tiny, totally achievable goal.
Super manageable.
Maybe it's literally just setting up a recurring transfer, say $25 a week, or even less if that feels like too much right now.
Right. Something you genuinely won't miss too much from your day-to-day spending.
Exactly. You might barely notice it leaving your checking account, but what you will notice,
Is that savings balance starting to creep up slowly but surely?
yes, and that builds momentum. It proves to your brain, hey, I actually can do this. It's like, the gym analogy.
Right. You don't start by trying to run a marathon tomorrow.
No way. You'd never even put your shoes on. But if you just commit to, I don't know, putting on your running shoes and walking for 5 minutes.
Often that's enough to get you out the door. The momentum builds from there.
Our brains love those small wins.
Absolutely. And that concept is straight out of habit formation science. Making that first step incredibly easy reduces the friction, the mental effort needed to start.
So it's less about the dollar amount initially.
And more about just starting the behavior, getting that action going.
Right.
Once that tiny action becomes a habit, it's much easier to gradually increase it over time without waking up that procrastination monster again.
And that idea, starting small and being consistent, leads perfectly into the next big strategy, which is kind of the ultimate behavioral hack, right?
Making it automatic.
Yes, making it automatic. Our sources stress this isn't just about, convenience.
No, it's a strategic move. It leverages behavioral economics principles.
So setting up those automatic transfers, payday hits, money moves straight to savings, straight to investments.
Before you even have a chance to think about spending it.
Right. You're removing the need to make a conscious decision every single time. And for investments, you're kind of implicitly doing dollar cost averaging too, right?
Exactly. You end up buying more shares when prices are low and fewer when they're high, automatically smoothing things out without any extra effort or timing the market.
It's like you're outsourcing your willpower.
That's a great way to put it. You're creating an opt-out system instead of an opt-in one.
Explain that a bit more.
Well, if the money moves automatically, you have to consciously decide to stop it or move it back, which takes effort. If you have to manually move it to savings each time.
That's where the procrastination kicks in. The daily decision fatigue, the temptation.
Right. Automating bypasses all of that. It's a powerful defense against both that choice overload and the hyperbolic discounting we talked about.
Because the decision is made once, and then it just happens.
Just runs in the background.
Okay, so we've got reframe saving as self-care, start incredibly small, and make it automatic. What's the final piece to keep this going?
Celebrating the wins.
Ah, yes. Don't forget the positive reinforcement.
Crucial. Our sources really emphasize this. Every time you hit a little milestone.
Maybe saving your first $100 or your first $1,000.
Yeah, or maybe accumulating one full month of living expenses in your emergency fund, or even just sticking to your small weekly transfer for a month straight.
Acknowledge it somehow.
Yes, acknowledge it. Maybe treat yourself to something small, something enjoyable that doesn't necessarily involve spending money.
Like a nice long walk or finally reading that book you've been meaning to get to.
Exactly, or even just taking a moment to consciously recognize your progress and tell yourself, good job.
It sounds simple, but that positive reinforcement creates a feedback loop.
Absolutely. It makes saving feel good, not like deprivation. It helps hardwire that new behavior, making it more likely to stick long term.
Okay, so zooming out then, if we bring all these threads together, what's the big message?
I think the most crucial takeaway, really, is that the single most important financial decision you can make It isn't about picking the absolute perfect stock.
Or finding the bank with the absolute highest interest rate, spending weeks researching.
Right. It's none of that initially. The most important decision is simply to start.
Just begin.
Just begin to take that one small intentional step forward, because honestly, that tiny step you take today, it really can be a giant leap for your financial future down the road.
So let's leave everyone listening with this. If the key to beating financial procrastination boils down to these things, changing your mindset, making small actions automatic, celebrating the progress, think about this. Where else in your life could these exact same principles work? Where else might they help you unlock momentum, overcome other kinds of everyday procrastination, or maybe even tackle goals that have felt completely out of reach for a long time?